WTUG HD2 Northport, and W265CG Tuscaloosa. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Alabama 1st and 10 on the 12. Again, Houston. He's got a hole. He's over. Alabama touchdown.
I'm just wondering if your listeners know how good a football player you were. I can still see you playing that fullback, knocking those players out of the way. And that, I believe I could have run behind you.
Martin, I can remember when we came to summer and you were playing fullback up there, and I saw you in the weight room and watched you work out in the weight room. If you were strong enough to pick up the whole weight room. I wanted to pitch it, and our running back coach didn't take the pass. Biggest mistake we ever made.
The Martin Houston Show with national championship winning fullback Martin Houston, giving you 1 hour of intense, hard-hitting analysis from an insider's perspective. It's time for the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports, Tide 100.9, and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Good morning. Welcome to the Martin Houston Show on Tide 100.9 on your radio dial. Martin Houston Show can also be seen online on the radio network at Martin Houston Speaks and on YouTube, Facebook, as well as on Twitter. Hey, let's get things rolling. Talking and planning today's show. Thought about having a little counseling session for all of the Bama fans. As I look out my window, it's still a little dark outside. That's probably how the Bama fans are feeling right now. But hey, good news is stick with it long enough, the sun will rise again outside and the daybreak will come. Will that be the case for Alabama? So today, the Sound of Bama Sports, your show, your team, the playbook is Real Talk, the state of the Alabama Dynasty. Of course, we'll have a little Pink Slip Monday. We'll have Good, Bad, and Ugly and more. So get in on the conversation right now, wherever you're at, by calling 205-342-9904, 205-342-9904. That's the Alabama One hotline. The Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier open for counseling. You can also add your comments and your thoughts on chat, and we'll work it into the conversation. How you feeling this morning? Alabama has lost 2 games in the regular season. I don't think that's happened in the regular season in a long time. I mean, maybe once or twice in the Nick Saban era since his first year. So, been a while since Alabama wraps up a season with nothing to play for other than a bowl game. We'll see what the mettle of Nick Saban is with this younger generation. Can he motivate them to play, or does Alabama have its first losing streak under Nick Saban? If I'm right, if I'm thinking correctly, Nick Saban has never lost 2 games in a row at Alabama. Is that correct, Joe? Let's think about that in a season. No, I'm not. Yeah, I don't think so.
His first year, he did.
Huh? Do what?
First
Other than the first year, I'm talking about. I don't count the first year. Yeah. Since this thing got rolling, so it's going to be interesting. But before we get into that, Alabama fans, listen to me. Let's rejoice today, because today is the day that the Lord has made. Not going to rejoice over Alabama football, but let's rejoice because we have another day that we can call up and talk about our team. Rejoice and be glad in it, and take some time today to notice someone, love someone, serve someone, be the difference you want to see in the world today. We'll get through this, But man, whoo, it's not fun right now being a Bama fan. All right. Everybody's waiting. Everybody's been waiting on this moment. Good morning, X. How you doing, sir?
Good morning. I'm doing as well as I can.
What's your thoughts from the weekend?
This was a embarrassing performance by the Crimson Tide, in my opinion. The way that the offense just shows no life, honestly, without Bryce Young's ability to improvise. And I am officially stating this 22 defense that everybody talked about having the potential to be the greatest might be the softest defense in the Alabama era up under Nick Saban.
Oh, wow. Joe, I'll get your open thoughts, and then the phone lines are lit up. So I'll get your thoughts, and it look like we may be dealing with callers all morning.
Well, you got to give credit to LSU. LSU playing as good a game as they did, but I was very disappointed in the consistency on the offensive end, and disappointed with defensive execution.
Hey, Joe X, we talk about real talk. Now let's have a real talk moment before we bring in the callers, guys. Let's peel back the onion on what Brian Kelly said. Brian Kelly said, "I'm going to LSU. Why? To face Nick Saban, right? Right? And what was he communicating? That he felt like he was a better coach than Nick Saban and did not have the talent at Alabama? If you really peel back the onion, what he was saying was, I can't get enough dogs to compete at Notre Dame with the Nick Saban. I'm going to go to his backyard, get the LSU Tigers, and then we'll see who can outcoach each other."
Yeah.
Is that pretty much what he said? Is he felt like he couldn't beat him at Notre Dame, but if he got to LSU, he could?
That's exactly what he was saying. And
and hey, and he does it. I mean, he when we were close, I said, man, this LSU staff knows how to adjust at halftime. They have been behind in every game, and they just get better as a coaching staff as the games go along. And that's what they did again. They answered every punch we threw in the second half. So, Brian Kelly called out Nick Saban when he took the job and backed it up on the field with the big win by the LSU Tigers down in Baton Rouge. Had the script flipped. All right, let's bring in Curtis Lewis. Curtis Lewis, you're in on the Alabama One hotline with Martin and Xavier. I'm sure it's Pink Slip Monday, so you just gonna start off with what you're not getting rid of?
No, there's nobody we're not getting rid of. But there are several that we done fired so many times. They're like bad spaghetti. They just keep coming up. Pete Golden's ignorance is just beyond call. I mean, how many times do you send your middle linebackers after somebody and leave nobody in the middle of the field to even look at that quarterback as he takes off and goes right down the field for that blame touchdown or 30 yards or whatever he's doing? How many times have we seen tight ends and running backs come out of the backfield and off the line, and we have nobody covering those guys, but yet we see the guy sit there and make the tackle 10 yards down the field? Well, you should have been the one covering the guy. But how many times have we seen that since we've seen Pete Golden up there? And yes, we got to put some blame on the players, but the fact that the players are put in a position by their coaches to make those plays, and they are not in the position to make those plays because they got them doing something else that's just utterly stupid. And then, of course, our offense, without Bryce Young, we have nothing other than Jahmyr Gibbs. But again, Jahmyr Gibbs is a great back, but if you don't put him in a situation to succeed, then you will fail. And that's
Curtis, let me ask you this: the last drive of the last drive of the game, do you know who we did not send out in routes?
The last time, I think by that time I was in the bathroom puking, so I couldn't tell you.
Curtis, Jameer Gibbs was our go-to guy all night. The last drive of the first half, of the game, we had him blocking. He wasn't out in the route. We didn't throw the ball to him one time on that last drive. And he was the guy we were hitting all night. So that shows you. And then we come back into the overtime, and the first thing we do, we put him back into the game plan. I'm like, maybe we get a touchdown if you use him in the drive. But anyway, go ahead. I'll let you do that and get to another call.
Yeah, and it's the fact that we sit here and we have to go through this every single week. And then Saban, you fired too. We fired you before, but you are fired now again because you keep throwing this crap about the Bama standard. Well, the Bama standard ain't there because you don't remember what the Bama standard is. The Bama standard resides over in Georgia. It's not at Alabama. That's where the Bama standard resides. So we forgot what the Bama standard is. So you want to find the Bama standard, go to Georgia and watch Georgia play. The Bama standard is on full display. Right now, we're playing with the blame, watered down Auburn standard. That's what we've got at Alabama right now.
Curtis, I'm gonna have to tell you. I'm gonna tell you. I had texts come in, and I talked to some people. Man, I was watching that Georgia game, and I said, "Boy, I remember the day." Not one missed tackle the entire game by the Georgia Bulldogs. Not one. Not one missed tackle. We missed more tackles on one drive than Georgia missed an entire game against a team that put up 52 points on us.
Yeah, exactly. And look at the defense Georgia played. Georgia went man-to-man practically all game long. No switching, no nothing. Like either you get beat by this guy or you don't get beat at all. And they shut Tennessee down doing that. But yet, here's the guy who supposedly taught the Georgia defense, who taught Kirby Smart how to supposedly do defense. But now you don't forgot everything. I'm surprised he don't remember who his wife is. That's stupid.
Hey, Kirby, I'm gonna let you go like this, but one thing that Kirby adjusted on that man-to-man, where was he playing at? On top of the receiver.
Oh yeah,
he wasn't chasing the receiver. So when they threw that back shoulder thing, the guy just planted, came back and knocked the ball out. And when they threw it over the top, they were in position to intercept it. So he made that one adjustment. So, but they also got pressure up the front. They also got pressure with their Hooker. The DBs did not let them get immediate throws. Like they didn't get to throw the ball immediately, and then the defensive line got to him. So.
Then the guy got too, because you took in away that quick route, that quick pass to the receiver. So Hooker had to hold the ball. It gave the defensive line to make pressure. And then later on in the game, you start seeing them doing different type of stunts and different blitzes coming out the corners, but they still maintain zone coverage in the middle of the field while playing man out there on the corner.
Yeah, we go.
It was a thing of beauty.
Thanks, Curtis. Absolutely. Everybody got pink slips today. All right, thanks.
Everybody fired.
Thanks. All right, guys. Hey, I'm going to get you guys on the other side, all you that's on the line. That way you don't have to be short on time. Coming back on the other side, we'll keep the real talk going right here on the Martin Houston Show. What's the state of the dynasty? Is it in decline? I didn't say it was gone, but is it in decline? And if so, why? Is it coaching? Is it recruiting? Is it development? Is it NIL? Is it transfer portal? Or is it all the above? Or is there just a new sheriff in town at several different schools, and we now have to raise our game and our level of play to compete? We'll talk about it right here on the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier on the other side.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
From the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, no active wrecks. Traffic fairly quiet on this Monday morning. Now, if you do see conditions throughout the day that folks need to hear about, give me a call, 205-886-8886. Townsend Nissan is your hometown dealer with an amazing selection of new and used vehicles, and they will give you top dollar for your trade. Go see them today. I'm Captain Ray.
Tuscaloosa Locksmith sells key remotes, remote fobs, smart keys, car remotes, and Black Rifle coffee. They also do laser engraving. Tuscaloosa Locksmith, just off 15th Street behind the fire station.
Holiday season in Tuscaloosa. The cool nip in the air, spending Saturdays cheering on the Tide, anticipation of Thanksgiving with the family, and Christmas shopping. Here's a brilliant idea. Give that special person in your world the gift of a lifetime. An immaculate, state-of-the-art BMW. Choose from 7 sports activity vehicles. Each one crafted to balance dynamic power, spacious interior, and impeccable design in ways only BMW can. Check out the ultimate driving machines at bmwoftuscaloosa.com. Skyland Boulevard East.
Qatar, here we come.
Christian's travel agency has one
All right,
goal.
talk to you soon.
The world's biggest soccer tourney.
The hotel is 7 miles from the stadium. Are you serious? Did you email the transportation company?
Now he needs an Arabic interpreter on his roster.
I don't speak it either.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $70 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
If you fish, don't miss the Inglewood Baptist Church Bass Tournament on November 12th on Lake Tuscaloosa. There is no entry fee for this tournament with a $7,000 total guaranteed purse. Registration begins September 15th. To register, text your full name and your partner's full name to 205-792-7398. Boat participants must attend the pre-tournament meeting at Inglewood Baptist Church November 10th for the no entry fee Inglewood Baptist Church Bass Tournament November 12th on Lake Tuscaloosa.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
Temperatures near record levels later today. The sky partially sunny. Tuscaloosa's high at 83. For tonight, fair with the low at 64. We stay warm tomorrow. The sky partly to mostly sunny. The high at 81 degrees. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 63 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
Scott Smith and Softmark Design, doing business for 17 plus years, specialize in graphic design services, commercial printing, promotional products, advertising specialties, and so much more. Basically, any and everything you would need to advertise, promote, and grow your business. Through strong partnerships, strong customer service, and creative ideas, they'll help you market and grow your business. Give Scott a call at 205-292-4680 or email scottis@comcast.net and visit them online at softmarkdesign.com.
The sound of Bama sports. Your show, your team. The Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show on Tide 100.9. He got Martin Houston. Xavier Houston and got Joe, got callers waiting to get in. We got callers and listeners chatting. Virgil Williams said all game long everyone was hollering Bryce was playing hurt. I don't believe it. If he is hurt, they had him throw the ball 50 times. The entire coaching staff needs to be fired. Bryce was off his game. He missed a lot of passes. I do understand that the O-line didn't give him any time, but Bryce has to stop trying to make a pass on every drop back and sometimes just take what you can get on the scramble and live to play another down. I disagree with Virgil on one part of that. I believe Bryce is hurt. I think they should be fired, Virgil, because the Tennessee game he threw the ball 52 times, and we know he was still hurt. There's a difference between injured and hurt. Part of Bryce's injury is strength loss. And if you go back and watch that game, his passes were either thrown short or long when he was off. And I believe that's how you compensate when you have a deficiency in strength. Like you can't just let it, your muscle memory isn't there because you're not as strong as you normally are. So you'll compensate and you'll overthrow it. And then you'll say, dang, you threw that one too hard. So you try to compensate again. And you're having to mentally think about how much you put on the ball versus just muscle memory. Think about this. He only threw the ball 25 times per practice. And then we've had him throw the ball 50 times, last night. I mean, this weekend or something like them crazy number. 51, 52 against Tennessee, and like 30 something against the game in between against Mississippi State. He's thrown the ball 100 and something times. That's more times than he's thrown it in practice since his injury. Think about that for a second, guys. So I do think he's hurt. And I think the reason we throw the ball that many times is our play calling. He doesn't know how to use. He's not creative enough to run the ball, etc. So let's get to Robert. Robert, you're in with the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Today. What's on your mind, sir?
I tell you, Martin, Curtis Lewis is threatening to take your position as the guy 100.9 that I agree with the most. He's absolutely right. Alabama's not the standard of college football anymore.
Absolutely. I agree with that.
Yeah. It is what it is. Kirby Smart has done it. He has unseated Nick Saban and his program as the standard. We have to improve to make it to Georgia's level now. That's what we have to do. People are getting mad at us last year when we were talking. Oh, what's that?
No, you want to know something crazy? You remember a few years ago when they said, "Oh, you can't win that way anymore with that type of defense, that type of
offense,
that type of play style." And Nick Saban has shifted what he's done completely, and now we're watching Georgia win the exact same way we were told we couldn't win in that way anymore.
Now, early on, Kirby took it on the chin with that style by losing it. I used to listen to the Georgia fan get a kick out of watching them complain about him when they were losing us with that style. And they were all fuzzy. You can't win like that. But like you said, he's stuck with it, and he's winning like that.
Curtis.
You said the toughness. The toughness is the same.
Robert, but that was when Kirby was learning to be a coach. In the two games we beat Georgia, they outplayed us the entire game. In the first game, they outplayed us. We never led. In the other game, we only led for like the first two times we led for a minute and some change in those two games. And it was because Kirby made coaching mistakes. Now that he's learned how to be a coach, he still hadn't changed his style that much. So it's kind of a scary thought. But they're still physical because they practice physical. You go hurry up and no huddle and read option, your offense gets soft and your defense gets soft. That's what we used to say about the Big 12, right?
Exactly. It's tough to watch but Kirby, that's what you do. You learn from the master, and then you do try to duplicate what they do. Maybe improve on it, but definitely duplicate what they do. That's why Kobe Bryant is a Hall of Famer in basketball. Hey, Michael Jordan's the best. I'll do what he does. Wow, lo and behold, now you're a Hall of Famer too. But the experience. It is the time for the experience. The Pete Golding and Bill O'Brien experience at Tuscaloosa to end. All the talking heads, you sound like, listen to all of them, but when they're all saying the same thing, all right, there's something there. I think there's zero chance both of them are back, and I think it's only a 20% chance that one of those two guys make it back next season. Both of them we all know need to go, and most likely both of them are going to go. They have brought the program down. It just is what it is. We're complaining about Pete Golding for 5 years, and you talking about the decline of the empire? of the dynasty. Yeah, it started around the time Pete Golding got there. We peaked in 2017, and after 2017, when he got in there after that, that's when the decline started. Now people can't see with all dynasties, you can't say predict when they're going to end. You can only observe after they've ended. No matter if you're talking about the Ming dynasty or the Alabama or the Miami dynasty or the Alabama dynasty. But historians can figure out when the decline started, and I think we're going to see our decline in 2017. Doesn't mean it's over, about to win another championship, but there's going to be some house cleaning. Well, likely Pete Golding is definitely gone.
And Robert, thank you. I'm going to let you go, but I'm going to say this. most dynasties don't end because of an outside influence. Most of the time they end because of internal things. Unfortunately for Alabama, I think we got some challenges and issues that we're going to have to overcome internally, while there's also someone who is making a case. And if they win 2 in a row, there's going to be a two pressures. There's someone better, and you've had your own internal decline. Thanks, Robert. Appreciate you, sir. X, before we bring in Todd, Jamal, you got anything you want to say in response to Robert?
Well, talking about the dynasty ending, I know this is something that me and you have talked about and that has been talked about a lot, is when you see generations that end what started off successful. You have the generation that builds it, you have the generation that maintains it, and then you have the generation that tends to destroy it. And I know this is Alabama football and things like that, but you can go back and look at that 08 to 2011, 2012 teams, and they're the ones that built the dynasty. Then you look at that next group from about 12 to 17, and they're the ones that maintained it, winning 5 of the 6 championships. Since 2017, you've seen a decline, as Robert mentioned, and I think we're in that era, unless something changes, that this is the generation of players, the group of players that have taken the dynasty down, that have broken it.
Good observation there, because we've won 1 in a 5-year window. So this one, if they do not win it next year, if there's any 3-year players that are a part of this team, any 3rd-year player will be the first recruiting class to leave without one, because they're now sophomores. If there's anyone that's a 3rd-year player that was recruited out of high school and leave after 3 years and they don't win it next year, then they'll be the first one. Be another sign of what's to come. Jamal from Ohio, you're in with the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier on Tide 100.9. It's Alabama One Hotline. What's on your mind, sir? Is Jamal gone? Jamal had to get out of there. Let's get to Todd. Todd, you're in with the Martin Houston Show on Tide 100.9 on the Alabama One Hotline. What's on your mind, sir?
Hey, how you doing?
Oh, is that Jamal?
It's Jamal, yeah.
Oh, okay. Hey, go ahead, Jamal.
Well, Xavier Martin, I'm distraught, man. Simply because, man, and I'm gonna let you guys go because I know a lot of people want to talk.
No, you're fine.
I'm distraught because it's like every week, and Xavier, you know this. Every week, in and out, we get the same philosophical mess from Nick Saban on the press conference. We got to play better. Guys got to play tougher, and guys got to do this, and guys got to do that. Why don't you call out your coordinators, man? Let's just a couple key plays. Let me be honest with you, Martin and Xavier. When Bryce Young threw that interception, it looked like it deflated him. He wasn't the same after that. He just was not the same. And for a few games now, I think even towards the end of last year, it seems like Bryce got more reluctant to run the ball. He could have ran the ball in and got the touchdown. But for whatever reason, he thinks it was Patrick Mahomes, threw a no-look behind the guy to JoJo Earl interception. And after that, it seems like it just went downhill. It just took the life out of him. And as far as Bill O'Brien, man, I'm starting to think he was paid to infiltrate Alabama. I'm starting to think somebody paid that man. Hey, look good in the interview. We're gonna get you in Alabama. I want you to ruin this team because it's blatant. You don't even have to be an Alabama fan to see it. It's so blatant that he's just not. Look, you have Rodale Williams. Okay, Pops is. I think he's the most biggest, strongest back we have. You on excuse my language. You on the dang 1 yard line in a shotgun formation. Why not get in the T formation, get Roydell Williams the ball, let him power his way into the end zone, man. And you in the shotgun on the 1 yard line, you already at a disadvantage.
Hey, let me say this. And if you're gonna run that, and the other team isn't gonna play the quarterback pull, did anybody see what it looked like on the corner when we were in the shotgun? If you're gonna run that, the LSU played. They gave zero respect to Bryce running the ball. We never took advantage of it. He could, but I'm saying call it. God, that's different. No, he's not going to run it. Huh?
And let's be honest, guys. Bryce Young missed a couple good passes that was wide open. Cameron Latu was wide open a few passes, and he just didn't see it. I don't know why. I don't. But here's the thing. This is instead of having your dang hat backwards in the box, get your butt on the field. So when you see your quarterback is deflated from that interception, hey man, don't worry about it. We got a long game to go. Let's get it. No, he's in the box because he's ashamed. He's afraid to get chewed out by Saban on national TV. That's what it is. And Saban, hey, come on, and I'm gonna let you go after this. Why is Saban not correcting this, man? Why are you going for 2? We could have won that game with a field goal. Why are you going to 2 with 11 minutes left, Saban? Come on, man. We got to stop giving Saban the pass, man. It's becoming sickening to even watch. It's not the point that Alabama loses; it's how we lose.
Yeah. Both of these games, and Virgil Williams, I saw some of his people's responses to him online. He got drilled. Thanks, Jamal. He got drilled because he was saying these last 2 losses have been strictly 100% on the coaching staff, and the coaching staff starts with Coach Saban. These coordinators have not made the decision to throw the ball 3 times and Saban not know it against Tennessee and not run the clock down. These coaches did not go for 2 without Saban knowing it. And both of those decisions, I mean, I'm not saying we win the game necessarily because we get that one. Everybody says we do that. Well, LSU may have went for 2 and made it. We would have been up by 8, right? And they would have had to go for 2. Or we'd have been up by 5 and they would have scored, and they would have been up by 1. They probably would have went for 2. But here's the difference. That play that they ran that always works against Alabama at the goal line, that they got the 2 points, they would have used that earlier because you always go with your number 1 play that you think works against a team. So even if we get that one, just one of those 2, then we're in a different situation because they're now going with their second best play, not their best play. So, X, closing thoughts before we get to break. Todd, Bishop, Cole, we'll get you on the other side. X?
No, I mean, it's right. You have to look at the decision-making, and you have to understand that Coach Saban knows every play call. He hears every play call as it comes out, and he's the one that's not overriding it. And we've seen how vanilla this offense is, and until something changes, it's going to keep being the same results.
Well, and here's my thought, X. It's not just like when Lane called something, Lane knew he was going outside of what Saban wanted, right? So it was, he knew he was going to get chewed when he did stuff like that. These coaches don't do anything outside of what he wants. So maybe that's why he don't chew him out, because they're doing exactly what he wants. But what he wants isn't getting the job done at the level that Bama fans have become accustomed to. Guys, here's the reality. As bad as we've played, think about this, everybody. As bad as we've played all year, as bad as we've played, the team that probably will win the SEC West beat us in overtime by 1, by going for 2 at a great time. And the team on the West that is second and sitting in a golden spot right now. Y'all understand that Alabama helped Tennessee twice. Because if Georgia beats LSU and Tennessee wins out, Tennessee is probably going to be still in. So as bad as we're saying we are, and listen, man, it's crazy. The penalties, the look, the softness, the lack of creativity, that feel for we just can't. I don't think we're gonna win. I don't think when they lined up to go for two, I felt like we would not make the play. That's what my feeling was. That's a change, and will that change continue as we transition into next year? Hey, we got some callers wanting to get in. We got comments on Facebook we're working in. You're welcome to give us a call on the Alabama One hotline at 205-342-9904. More conversation right here on the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier. Hello, this is Martin Houston with the Martin Houston Show, and I want to tell you about one of our great sponsors, Overflow Express Wash. Their mission is to provide great customer service with a showroom clean car and an exceptional customer service experience. They have the basic car wash that starts at $7, but you need to check out the premium wash packages, which start as low as $12 and go up to $20. They also have a membership wash club that you can get for starting at $23.99, going up to $39.99. In other words, just double the regular premium package, drop a penny, and you can be one of the great members of Overflow Express Wash. My family and I keep our cars looking good inside and out by using Overflow Express Wash. They're located on Skyland Boulevard right next door to Alabama One, or you can find them online at overflowexpresswash.com. Andy Phillips and his team look forward to making you a part of their team.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Townsend Nissan is your super savings vehicle dealer right here at home in Tuscaloosa with over 100 pre-owned vehicles in stock and priced for immediate delivery. And yes, if you are looking for a new Nissan, we have trucks arriving weekly with new inventory for your buying pleasure. And yes, Townsend Nissan offers bank rates as low as 1.9% and up to 90 days until your first payment. And yes, Townsend Nissan wants to buy or trade for your vehicle today. And yes, Townsend Nissan is the home of the lifetime warranty on new Nissans and most pre-owned vehicles. Shop TownsendNissan.com.
I found the place to shop Black Friday, Kohl's. I earned Kohl's Cash on everything I bought. Got 15% off and saved big with their early access deals like sweats for under $10, a throw blanket for just $8.49, and boots for $16.99. Did I mention these deals are for a limited time? Don't wait. Get more gifts and more savings at Kohl's. Select styles. Deals valid through November 10th. 15% offer valid through November 10th. Some exclusions apply. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
Nick Saban calls it the process. John Maxwell said that everything rises and falls on it. And Coach Wooden said it's what you learn after you think you know it all that makes the difference. What am I talking about? Leadership and personal development. Is your organization, your school, your church, your family, are they receiving the proper level of leadership development and personal development? If not, the Empowerment Center for Leadership and Mentoring can help you with that. We have our Pep Talks, which is a 1 to 1.5 hour lunch and learn, which we can customize to meet your needs, or we have some topics that we present that we know can help your organization. And if you're looking for one-on-one mentoring and coaching, we can also assist you with that. Visit peptalks35.com. That's peptalks35.com, or send an email to martin@martinhouston.org. That's the Empowerment Center for Leadership and Mentoring.
Interact with the Martin Houston Show by calling us at 205-342-9904 or tuning into the Martin Houston Show on Facebook.
Woo! Back into the Martin Houston Show, Martin and Xavier. Man, it's getting interesting. People already writing Bama off next week. Why? Because we're going against an offensive coordinator that will see every weakness in our defense and absolutely take advantage of it. Will Kiffin hand Nick Saban his first losing streak since 2007 as we head over to Oxford. Virgil Williams saying, keep your eyes open. We just might see that happen. Todd, you're in with the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier on the Alabama One Hotline. What's on your mind, sir?
Good morning, sir. Thank you for taking my call, Martin and Xavier. Man, I tell you, I need some big-time therapy today. But one thing that nobody's really talking about or ever says anything about is one thing that really gets me going is when Saban is interviewed, he continues to say, create more value for yourself. I mean, you've coached football, Martin, and there's no I in team. It's not about yourself. These players know that they're going to create value in themselves by coming to Alabama and performing well. But I believe that Saban, that very same rat poison that he don't want his team to hear, he's feeding it to them every week. Create more value. Create more value. That is something that I'm tired of hearing, Martin.
Let me tell you why I think he's having to say that. I think he's having to say that because he cannot get this team to respond to the coaching and the coaching staff. I think he also recognizes full-hearted now the only chance Alabama has that this doesn't end up like a flop season, because this is the first time since we won our first championship of any type that these players have to play the rest of a season without anything to play for other than a bowl game. I have said it for years. I not that I wanted to see it happen, but I knew it would happen someday. How will this team respond, Todd, when there is nothing to play for? Will the crimson jersey be enough? And Saban's rhetoric of to create value for yourself tells me he doesn't think so. So what is he doing? He's telling them, play for yourself, so at least the team looks like it's giving effort. That's what I think. I mean, I could be totally wrong. So
I'm just so tired. I'm so tired of that comment. So look at it this way. All right. So play for yourself. All right, Bryce Young. We go to a bowl game. You want to create more value for yourself. What is that going to put in his mind to do? Oh, I'm going to hold out. I'm not going to play. I'm going to create more value for myself because I'm going to the NFL. I don't want to be injured or whatnot. I'm not putting my teammate first. I'm putting myself first. That rat poison right there is our downfall, Martin.
We better hope Bryce Young plays the rest of the season.
Yeah. I'm telling you right now, if I was Bryce Young, I'd consider shutting it down.
If he's still hurt, or you know, still has some issues with his shoulder, I mean, they say it can't get any worse, but I've seen a quarterback get worse the last 3 games. I mean, I think he threw the ball better against Tennessee than he did against Mississippi State, and better against Mississippi State than he did LSU. There may not be more damage, but he may be getting weaker. I don't know what it is, but he hadn't played better the last 3 games. I mean, he has not gotten better. Anything else you got, Todd, before I let you go?
Man, I just want to tell you guys I love y'all. Great show, and roll tide, man. And we'll just be praying that we finish the strong. Bama finishes the season strong, and does not continue to flop the way we've been flopping.
I'm hoping you're right. Jerome Edwards has dropped a couple of comments this morning. Number one is, no, the dynasty's not gone. All Saban got to do is get rid of them 2 coordinators. And then he also said, Martin Houston, Saban done got soft because no way he keep these coordinators as if he don't get rid of them. So, yeah, that's a good point. Let's bring in Bishop. Bishop, you're in on the Alabama One Hotline with Martin and Xavier on Top 100.9. What's on your mind, sir?
Good morning, Bishop. How you doing today?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great.
Hey, X, I thank you for that 3-point sermon you gave to build, maintain, or destroy here.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Martin, I didn't watch the game.
Oh.
I taped it. My wife was in the room watching the game. I didn't watch it. And the reason I didn't watch it was I saw Georgia. And when I saw Georgia, it reminded me of the old Alabama, so I didn't want to be frustrated.
Hey, Bishop, if you had watched it, then you would have been dead. Like, I can't tell you how many times, Bishop, I saw something happen and I go, hey, Georgia would have did this. And that was so fun. That was weird for me. I'm gonna tell you. It was weird.
Yeah, I saw it. I said, man, I told him, I said, this looks like the Alabama of old. But one of the things I said, and the reason I like Alabama is because of Saban. Martin, I pastored for 25 years. As a leader, I like Saban.
Yes.
But I think Saban has lacked discernment. And the next time he interviews, he needs to take you in with him. Because I think he's hiring people that know people he know, but he's not hiring people that's connected to his vision.
And to his and to the people he's recruiting.
Exactly. And so there is a lack of passion.
Yep.
There is no passion. There's no passion with the coaches, so there's no passion with the players.
Yeah. Hey, listen, Bishop, you bring that up. Watch this. You know, last week we asked a question about Scott Cochran and everybody downplayed it, right? Anybody tell me what would have been going on the Alabama sideline when we were playing Tennessee down the stretch? What would have been going on the Alabama sideline when we were playing Texas A&M down the stretch? Texas down the stretch, and against LSU. What would have been going on when Scott Cochran was here versus what we see on the sideline? When you watch our sidelines now in big moments, it looks like it's the kickoff.
And not only that, Martin, but with Scott Cochran, your linebackers didn't have to get to 200 pounds, so they could cover a running back and still couldn't cover it. So you look at Georgia's linebackers still look like the linebackers you played against, Martin.
Yeah.
So I just think there's a lack of passion, and what I'm praying for is that's going to be repentance from the top.
Yeah.
If we get repentance from the top and get him to change his heart and change his mind, then we're going to bring the passion back.
There we go.
But he's going to have to release. He's going to have to get rid of those coordinators that are not connected.
Yep, I feel you. All right, thanks, Bishop. Hey,
all right.
Thank you. Cole Lewis, you're in with the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier on Alabama One Hotline. What's on your mind, sir?
What's going on? We haven't lost to LSU and Tennessee since 2006 in the same year.
Oh, wow.
This is looking like the 2010 season when we had 3 losses against. It was LSU, Auburn, and South Carolina. It's not getting any easier, so we might be a 3-loss team like we were in 2010.
I think we're disrespecting 2010 by comparing them to this team. Let me tell you why.
This team is definitely worse than 2010.
Huh?
This team is definitely worse than 2010.
Well, the reason I'm saying 2010, there's a lot of great teams who struggle to come off a championship when they've not learned how to win. Okay? And even those who have learned how to win many times struggle after a championship, right?
Maybe. Yeah. I mean, we were up 24-0 on Auburn. Should have won that game. They came back and beat us the second half.
Go ahead.
We were up on Auburn in the Iron Bowl in 10, and we were up 24-0 and got beat 27-24.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. To me, the difference about this team is that they were supposed to be one of the best ever. And we said that was the most talented in 2010. This team was supposed to be one of the best with some of the best returning players, returning coordinators, and coming off great recruiting and coming off having lost a championship, Cole. That's the difference. This team should have been – that team wasn't hungry. That team had done something that had not been done in 30 years. This team, as Xavier mentioned earlier, should be trying to redeem themselves from a loss. They should have been hungry. They should have been passionate. They should have been – this looks like a team that's like, hey, whatever, man. It's all good. Let's go. Roll Tide. So, anyway, you got anything else for us, Cole?
Maybe with these NIL deals, maybe they can stay 4 years instead of just 3 years now.
Well, not if you tell them to create value for yourself, they'll still be leaving, right? If you're telling them that the reason they can't, when I came here, I was recruited to come play for the Crimson jersey and the team. Yes, if the NFL was part of it. Now these kids are coming because they're going to get NIL. And I've said this before we lost, so this is not just an NIL. I have no problem with NIL. I think it's great for the players, but the coaches who manage it. But here's something that no one's talking about. We're talking about how great Saban has been recruiting lately and how this is the greatest recruiting class. Joe X, did Kirby bring in any transfers this year?
No, I don't think he did.
And what did Kirby lose last year?
Everything.
On the defensive side of the ball, think about that for a second. He didn't have to go out. And now I could be wrong. He may have brought in some, but I don't think he did. And he replaced a defense that looks like is playing at an extremely high level consistently, whether it's a run attack or otherwise. And I think running actually hurts this Georgia team more than passing right now, a la Missouri. But they still play with intensity and aggressiveness. And he did it through recruiting and development. That's the way we used to do it. You go back and look at who's been the game changers for us.
This is the new system now for our system. Like, this is going to be the process of 2 or 3 losses a year if we don't straighten up.
Yeah, very possible. Thanks, Cole. All right. Hey, Philip, you're in with the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier on Top 100.9. It's the Alabama One Hotline. What's on your mind, sir?
Hey, good morning. It's great to talk to you. I've never showed before.
All right, welcome, man. First-time caller. Glad to have you.
Thank you, sir. I'm going to go against the grain a little bit here, Martin.
You're welcome to, man.
Mm-hmm. I think Saban's retirement is completely imminent. I'll tell you why. I think that he looks fit and he looks like he's in great shape to me. But he is 71, and people are talking about, on Twitter, getting rid of all these coaches, firing the coordinators, some of the other coaches and all that. And you're talking about a 71-year-old man who's been in their position years ago. He was where they are now. I don't think he relishes that thought. I don't think he wants to do that. I don't think he will do that. I think the next week is going to be critically important for us as a fan base to really brace ourselves what might happen after the Ole Miss game. I think his retirement is imminent.
Oh, wow. Hot. When you say imminent, what you think is going to happen if you were forecasting?
I guess you have to look at it, absolutely in one of two ways. If Alabama were to win that game, which I don't think they will, I think Ole Miss is going to beat Alabama.
Wow.
If Alabama were to win that game, the fires sort of cool off a little bit and people sort of calm down a little bit, and possibly Nick Saban rethinks, where he wants to go, with his coaching career over the next few weeks. But I think an Ole Miss win would definitely open the curtains and draw back some light into him possibly retiring this season.
Wow. All right, Philip, you said it first right here on the Martin Houston Show, so we got to be watching that, Philip. Definitely some good points, man.
I just think that the fact that he's 71, he's got several people on staff that, now granted, the one thing that could help Coach Saban in that regard is if some of these guys meet with him over the course of the next few days or whatever. I highly doubt if they would do it during the season, because they do have 2 more games left after this, and Alabama sure as heck doesn't want to get into a game against Auburn where they're fighting for their life to beat Auburn in Tuscaloosa. You're talking about disaster.
Oh God, that would be bad.
That would be disaster. And at the rate Alabama's playing right now, and with the enthusiasm that Auburn has for Carnell Williams, Auburn could come in and play Alabama off their feet.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Because Alabama's playing like they're walking the green mile right now, Martin.
And Philip, and I had to let you go into this, but on top of that, and call back anytime, man. And on top of that, Auburn always plays for that Auburn jersey, especially when they play against Alabama. Will Alabama play for the Crimson Pride? We don't know that.
Another hot take too. This staff does not prepare for Auburn, Martin.
Yeah. There we go. Thanks, Philip. There we go. Hey, come back tomorrow. We'll keep this conversation going. Philip throwing out Saban's retirement is imminent. We'll talk more about what's happening there. Did Saban chase points too early? According to Larry Miller, he did. Man, there's a lot that we got to get to on tomorrow, and we'll do it, and we'll bring DC in, but we'll also welcome you in as well. As callers, chatters, and listeners, we thank you for being a part of the Martin Houston Show. Thank you, X. We appreciate you, sir. Thanks, Joe, pressing all the right buttons for the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier. I'm Martin Houston, and we want to remind you to trust in the Lord always. Lean not your own understanding. All your ways acknowledge Him, and He will direct your path. Roll Tide out there, everybody.
Here's what's trending on the Tuscaloosa thread.
Good Monday morning. Election integrity will be a key issue when voters head to the polls for tomorrow's midterm elections. Despite criticism from most voting rights groups, Alabama Secretary of State